How long have you been working in the mental health field, Rebecca?
Not terribly long, only a little over a year.
Oh, okay. So you agree with the medication that they give us to torture us?
I would never agree with anything that was intended for torture.
So why would you work here if you know it's torturing us?
Because they're not intended for torture.
It's not intended for torture, but it's torturing us.
Some people feel that way, some people don't.
But a lot of people feel that way, more than people who don't feel that way.
How do you know that? I work with
I've been to over 20 psych wards.
Okay. And those, when you're in a psych ward, why are you there?
Because the government is doing corruption on people's minds with the ingredients within the medication, within the foods, that's causing people to have these bad problems with their mind. Just like autism. Autism is not natural. Autism comes from these bad chemicals that's inside the food and these vaccines. But they want to say it's not, but they want to lie. But God is going to be the righteous judge that's going to reprimand and bang the gavel better than any judge that ever banged the gavel in his life. But y'all evil, y'all know it, and God's going to punish y'all. It's like I told you about 5 minutes ago. August, Michigan had an earthquake, and we about to start having greater earthquakes, says the Lord, like you've never seen before. What do you think about that?
That would be pretty terrible.
Well, I just seen a video yesterday where the earth has opened up, like, in a great way. Like, I don't know how big, but it was like, I don't know how to measure a circle, but the earth has opened up, and God said in his word that he will open up the earth and swallow people up inside the earth. Some people gonna go straight to hell.
It's rough.
It is rough, but it's righteous. Some people say that's evil, but it's not evil. It's righteous, because people are so evil.
It feels like an opinion, Moses.
See, you say it feel like an opinion, but it's not an opinion. There's something called right and wrong. You know, do you have children? Do you know? Do you reprimand your children when they bad? Do you know what's right from wrong, or you just don't know, or you just pretend like you don't know?
I'll just let you decide.
No, I want to know. We want to know.
I'm looking up your last med review.
Just know, you've been to the military, so I know a little bit about you, more than you know about yourself.
Okay. I'm going to read this to you because I think this is important.
Sure.
This is your plan for your medications that was written at your last med review. Continue Prolixin 37.5 milligrams IM every 2 weeks. Consider decreasing this due to side effects in the future. He is concerned about fogginess and depressed mood. For now, patient would prefer to avoid synthetic substances for treatment of side effects and is interested in natural management. Discuss possibility of Selexin, which is a natural lavender extract that can be helpful for stress and anxiety. You want to write that down?
Yeah. But I've been making many more complaints than just that. Well, that was probably just the last review, but I made many complaints about what's going on. I'm having anxiety that I don't have on a regular from this medication because of the ingredients within the medication. I'm having depression, confusion, irritation, agitation, anger. That's how evil these how can a medication cause you to be angry? That's wicked. But I give medication.
What else those are side effects of?
Huh?
You know what else those are?
What do you mean?
Those are symptoms.
Okay.
They could also be symptoms of your mental illness.
No, it's not a symptom of my mental illness. You the one that's mentally ill. How do you spell that lavender herb?
SILEXAN.
God told me don't call it mental illness, call it spiritual warfare. You know about warfare. You've been to the military.
Spiritual warfare?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. That wasn't meant to be offensive.
I wasn't born this way.
Sure that you weren't.
How are you sure if you don't know me?
Since most children don't develop schizophrenia until later in life.
So that tells you something caused it. So what caused it? If you was to do thorough research, you would know what caused it.
Research on it.
Not me, but what causes what is the deep depths of what's going on in the body and the brain and the mind of schizophrenic patients.
Well,
Parasites cause a lot of problems in the body. You should research parasites because that causes a lot of problems with the mind.
one of the things that happens is that there's chemical imbalance and you get too much serotonin. That's one of the problems. Why it happens is something that we're still figuring out, but we do know there's things that are linked to it. One of them is kind of the way that you grow up. So some of the things you might have been through when you were younger, you might have been through some stress, some really significant stress or trauma. Oftentimes that will trigger it. Sometimes you just have a predisposition for developing it. So people have that predisposition already, and then they go through something very traumatic, and it triggers the illness or spiritual warfare, however you want to call it. But it triggers for it to come out, symptoms start exhibiting, and then a lot of the negative symptoms are, so they call it positive and negative symptoms. Positive symptoms is things you do experience, and negative stuff is things that you don't experience. Like some people, like affect. Do you know what affect is? So like, if I'm in a bad mood, you can tell I'm in a bad mood because of the way I look, like my facial expressions and stuff like that. Affect is something that's difficult for those with schizophrenia and other disorders to manage. Like they just don't have it. Like you'll have the blank expression or have a monotone tone. That's considered like a negative side effect, symptom. But you are diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type. Do you know what that is?
Tell me.
Well, do you have an understanding of what it is?
Full of confusion. Full of beliefs, but not accuracies.
Okay, like having thoughts that aren't necessarily not everybody is like not a shared reality. That's what I like to say. I feel like it's easier.
I'm thinking about that guy that be making those videos, talking to his psychiatrist, and he sounded so funny.
Oh, well, shared reality, I feel like is a good way to put it, because like you said, you have thoughts, but they feel pretty real for you or whatever, and then not for other folks. But the bipolar type part is where your mood comes in, and that's where sometimes you feel real full of energy, and sometimes you feel real depressed, and that's what can happen to you.
I don't get depressed unless I take certain psych meds. I don't get. They say I have bipolar.
You never feel sad otherwise?
Yeah, if something happens, but not just because I don't know why.
Okay.
Things happen that make people sad. Things happen that make people depressed.
That's normal.
I don't just get depressed just because I get depressed.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you have way too much energy and then you can't sleep?
In the past.
Okay. That would be like the high part. And some people don't experience the low part so much. They experience more of the high part. And this particular medicine has not only the antipsychotic in it, but it helps with mood. And there's herbs that help with mood too. It's called Silexin, right? The lavender herb. That's for
anxiety.
That's different.
But y'all don't prescribe that, but y'all prescribe medication with anxiety that have so many side effects. Why is that?
Yeah, because we're Western medicine, really, and it's not.
Is it devilish medicine?
Pardon?
Devilish medicine?
Western
Western.
medicine.
Oh.
But so the thing is, she told you could try something like this. It's not guaranteed. It hasn't been through all the trials and all the experiments and like research.
Why they didn't experiment on something natural versus something synthetic? Why they want to experiment on synthetics but not natural?
So you know that there are natural ingredients in some of these things, right?
That's true.
Okay, so it's not all just man-made
But
stuff.
mostly it is.
And even if it was man-made, that doesn't make it evil.
So why?
Our clothes are man-made.
Just because it's man-made, it could be made from something that was natural, though. I'm not talking about something that was. I'm not talking about just man-made. I'm talking about just because it's man-made, it could be made of something that was natural. Once again,
there's synthetic fabrics,
and that stuff is messing our body up too. Did you know that?
The fabrics.
Yes.
Maybe.
There's doctors that's explaining all this stuff that I'm talking about.
The sun can hurt you. The sun has radiation.
The sun never hurted me. I meditated under the sun for 5 hours in the scorching hot sun for 5 hours and never hurted me.
Okay.
I ain't getting no
But it
sunburn.
hurts some folks.
Well, maybe God is judging them.
That's a thought.
Think about that.
Possibility.
Think about I ain't never said it is. I'm saying maybe it's a possibility.
Sure.
Why is Israel has the highest rate of cancer if they're the chosen people of God? Why he putting cancer on his chosen people if they righteous, if they've been if they've been upholding the law for all these centuries and decades, not centuries but decades.
I'll tell you that's something I do not understand.
Why in Africa it's not it's a low increasage of it's a decreasage of cancer in Africa, but the opposite of Africa is Europe. White, black, black, white. Anyways, so what's going to happen after we leave?
Well, they're going to come get you.
Who?
The police officers.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? You asked Mike to do that.
But why they coming to get me?
To get your medicine. You're on.
So you're going to force me to take medication?
Yeah.
Why?
Because otherwise, you're going to be most likely you're going to become unwell, and then you're going to be possibly a danger to yourself or somebody else. And we don't want that for you. I don't want you to get hurt.
So why don't you give me what I need?
What is that?
Herbs. You're not, yeah, Western medicine. I forgot your Western medicine.
Have you tried herbs before?
Yes, I did. But I'm not going to explain it because I don't know why I went back to the cycle, but at the same time, y'all are wicked. Y'all, like you said, y'all Western medicine or devilish medicine.
Maybe it takes both.
No, it doesn't take both. It takes a right doctor like Dr. Sebi, who just recently died. He cured people from schizophrenia and bipolar.
He said that?
Yeah, and he got sued at the Supreme Court. He went to the Supreme Court, and he brought like 30 patients to the courthouse, and they filed a lawsuit against him saying he was a false minister of medication, and he won. He beat the case. Lisa Lopez from TLC. He cured her. He cured celebrities. So it's been proven. But they don't want to give us herbs. Huh?
So from TLC?
Left Eye, whatever her name is.
She's the one that died.
Yeah, but he cured her before she died.
She was very young when she died.
But he cured her before she died. You should look that up. Dr. Sebi, he cured her. But they don't want to give us what God gave us naturally.